Welcome into Jungle Tales, the Pirate Baseball podcast. On deck for East Carolina this weekend is the 22nd annual Clark-LeClair Classic. The Pirates will open the event against Kent State on Friday, but on Saturday they'll be taking on a very good Indiana State program. And right now to preview the Sycamores, very excited to have in their first-year head coach, Tracy Archuleta. Coach, we appreciate your time today.
Oh, Bo, was good. I got excited during that intro, man. We're excited to get to the jungle and see that environment and just play some three quality teams there.
So as I take a look at your background, Coach, 23 years now as a head coach prior to this season, 18 at Southern Indiana, a program that you guided to a couple of Division II national titles. You helped that program transition to Division I ranks in the OVC. As I examine things, obviously this program has had so much success, but just talk a little about why you made that decision to make the move from Southern Indiana, somewhere you had been for a couple of decades, to Indiana State, a program that has been in regionals and super regionals under Coach Hannes.
It wasn't an easy decision. Anytime you have been somewhere for 18 years, and then when we transitioned into Division I really wanted to just start that process and get Southern Indiana on the map a little bit from the Division I side and make sure it was in a good place. But then when Indiana State job came open and they contacted me, it was just, I'm in a position right now in my career, I'm 50 years old, and it's an established winning tradition program. And we all want to excel and be part of the regionals and the super regionals and, hopefully have a chance in Omaha. And I felt Indiana State was the right place to do that. And what a great transition it's been. I really didn't realize how much baseball tradition, winning tradition that they had at Indiana State until I got there and started meeting people and started hearing stories about, the team in '86 that went to the World Series. And, and you look at Coach Meggs, who got the program, going again into there. And then you looked at Coach Heller, who also made a regional run in there, and then you had Coach Hannes, who had just a great time there in Terre Haute and winning a lot of baseball games. And talking to him throughout the process, it made it a right fit for me, number one. But number two, just an exciting a task at hand is trying to keep the program where it's at and also trying to elevate it.
Provide us with the general overview, of your roster makeup before we dive into some of the specifics. Obviously a much different environment in college sports these days as it was just a short few years ago. So how many guys did you retain, and how many new pieces did you add?
Well, coming in right now, we don't have a single guy of the 9 guys that we have starting that have huge experience. I mean, Keegan Garris and Carlos Pena are the 2 guys that are getting quite a bit of playing time with us right now that were on the team. And then you look at Jacob Spencer and Max McEwen. Those 2 guys were guys on the staff that pitched a little bit, just not a lot. So I knew they had some experience. And then basically, we brought in a little bit over 25 players, and it was hard. It was hard, but at the same time, it was good for me because I've been somewhere for so long, and sometimes you get caught in just too much of a routine into that end. And this was during those 20 days and hiring staff and trying to get a highly competitive team recruited, it made me look back and reevaluate some of the things that I was doing. And that's what it really kind of helped me a little bit. And not only with the recruiting end, but just on the staff end too, just making sure that things were and looked at in a different manner, but also that it was going to be competitive enough to compete for that Missouri Valley, title.
So you got your season underway a couple weeks ago against Wagner. You lost the opener 3-2, but then you bounced back in a big way, winning 16-6 and 36-6. That series taking place. I'm in the greater Charlotte area, and that was down in Gastonia, in the ballpark there. That's pretty nice. And so tell us about opening weekend against Wagner.
Opening weekend was very interesting. I mean, Wagner came out. We knew that their Friday night guy was going to have good stuff, and he did. And we had a 2-1 lead going into the ninth, I believe. And then Gav walked a guy and left a cutter up, and that was it. And then, that's baseball. And then guys bounce back. I mean, I thought that kind of showed a little bit of character for them, just because first game out, a lot of new faces, new staff, get beat, come back, win handily, come back on Sunday, win. And it was good to see just the character there. There was no panic. Because in baseball, any given day, anybody can beat anybody, and you just got to learn how to grind it out and not lose two in a row at all, really, at any point in time.
So after going 2-1 on opening weekend, you ventured down to Florida. You unfortunately, I believe you lost or had a game canceled, I should say, against Florida Gulf Coast. But the other game, you were able to pick up a quality win, and then you took on a Northeastern program that's had so much success in recent years, and you dropped the series, but were able to salvage the finale.
Florida Gulf Coast is probably the best game that we have played as a group. We had just more quality at bats. Guys that got up in counts were able to put really good swings on pitches. I thought the staff competed really well. That was probably the first sign for me that things were going into a right direction. And then going into Northeastern, I mean, hey, by the way, Glab does a great job. That is an experienced, well-coached team and very physical. I thought their starting arms were really good. They ran bases about as good as I've seen in a while. Just all around very solid. And again, we got punched. We got punched in the face pretty hard. We didn't score for like 25 innings, I think is what it was. And I didn't know if Coach Gilbert was going to make it back on Sunday after getting shut out on both games on Saturday. But then going into Sunday, we get into the fifth, we get a break, and then we were able to use that break and end up winning 5-4. And it was a quality win for us, and just in a sense of a quality program and having to fight back, and then go to Bethune-Cookman after that. And just that game was a typical midweek game where nobody could throw strikes. And then eventually we ended up throwing strikes, and then kind of took care of business there.
Yeah, you mentioned that 12-4 win against Bethune-Cookman. So you'll bring a two-game streak into the Keith-LeClair Classic. I mean, this is a very tradition-rich tournament. Some unbelievable programs have participated in it down through the years, and I know the Sycamores have in the past as well, prior to your arrival, of course. But as you take a look at this field, of course, East Carolina, a program that consistently hosting regionals and playing in super regionals over the last 5 or 6 years, and then Virginia Tech has also been very good.
Yeah, we're excited. I mean, this is something that we've talked about as just as a staff, and then we kind of went over it as a team. It was probably right when we got to Port Charlotte, when we had one of our team meetings. It's like I told our guys and our staff both. It's you're playing 3 different teams, three high quality teams, and it's kind of an early stage of a regional where you have to prepare for 3 different arms. As a staff, you're doing 3 different scouting reports. Don't know really who's going to be available out of the pen. And this is a good test not only for us as a staff, but also for our guys, just to be able to process what we're trying to do on each day, and then trying to get to Sunday with a couple wins in there. But at the same time, it's just going to challenge us. This is going to help us prepare for our conference. This is going to help us prepare for down the road. And like I said, Coach Hannes had the schedule pretty much intact, and we had a few things that we had to get done. But this is why they've been successful, because of the quality opponents that they play on a yearly basis, and we're excited about it.
Definitely didn't intentionally leave out Kent State there. That third program that you referenced, had the opportunity a couple of days ago to catch up with Coach Duncan, who's in his 12th season there with the Golden Flashes. He took that program over right after they had been to Omaha back in 2012. And, I think it was 2014, his first season, and he's won a lot of championships there, guiding Kent State. And like you mentioned, a third very good program in addition to yourselves. And, Coach, as I looked over your team positionally, you talk about some of those returners. A guy that's leading you in average right now is Jeremy Martinez. And then also you had guys like Carter Beck, Keegan Garris, and Carlos Pena that you've already referenced that have been swinging it pretty well, at least by the numbers.
Yeah, Jeremy's a freshman. Neville's is a guy that had opening day start. He's banged up a little bit. We're hoping to get him back this weekend. He basically had to catch every game since I believe it was Florida Gulf Coast. So he's had the last four into there. Had to catch a doubleheader, 2 9-inning games, and he told me after the games, Coach, I never caught a doubleheader before. I just looked at, well, get used to it, bud. But he's done well. I mean, he's a guy that's you go through your freshman woes at times with him, but at the end of the day, he's given us everything that we want from a stance of just competitiveness. I mean, he's going to compete there. Carter Beck's a player. He is the guy that we were excited to get this summer. He has a chance to be a really, really good hitter. I'm hoping by the end of the year that he really kind of solidifies some things. Keegan Garris is a young man who has been in this program. I think this is his third year because he went to junior college for 2. But he is the guy on our team that really helped me and our staff and our players understand what it means to be a Sycamore. He plays like that. He plays hard every day, shows a ton of character on and off the field. He's a quality young man, and I'm super excited that he has started out on a good note. The other guy that you didn't mention is Nick Sutherland. Nick Sutherland did not get an opening day start. We knew he was going to be a first base, third baseman because Pena and Folk are kind of they had a little injuries early. Pena's able to play now. Folk's just DHing with an arm injury in there. We're hoping to get him back later in the year. But Nick Sutherland's played third base the best that I have seen him play all in the last 6-7 months. He's been the biggest surprise from us on the defensive end, and then offensively he's done a good job for us in the middle of the order in there. Carlos Pena, another left-handed bat that has some pop in there. We need to get him a little bit focused in the middle of the field. He gets a little jumpy at times, but he's a player that we also expect big things from.
Yeah, you mentioned those lefties. I mean, depending how the wind is this weekend at Clark-LeClair, I don't know your familiarity with the ballpark, but to right field is definitely built for left-handers. And Pirates have been loaded with left-handers down through the years.
Yeah, I've watched many games in the jungle there, and we're excited. Like I said, it's a great environment. It's a fun place to hit on, and I think our staff better keep the ball down a little bit and throw strikes. Otherwise, we could get the negative part of that part.
Shifting over and taking a look at your pitching staff, I've noticed that on the first 2 weekends, you've used that same rotation, Ryan Carr, Grant Parson, and Ty Brooks. Tell us about those guys, and then we'll dive into your bullpen.
I tell you what, Karst has had 2 rough outings. Hasn't been able to throw enough strikes. Fell behind in count. So we're going to make a change there for this weekend. Max McEwen will actually get the ball on Friday night. And we're hoping to get Karst some touches here. And, maybe starting back out on Tuesday. He's going to have to be a guy that pitches for us. But he's going to have to figure out some things on that end. But as far as Grant Parson was with me at USI. He came over with us here to Indiana State. Parson is a guy that is pitching big games for us. And he still hasn't been, in my opinion, at his peak yet this spring, but he throws strikes. He's able to change speeds, has 3 solid pitches, going to the 4th one every now and then. And we're looking for good things for him throughout the course of the year. And then our freshman, Ty Brooks, man, I mean, he's special, man. He's gonna have a chance to be really good down the road. Fastball really has good sink to it. Really developing on the off-speed stuff, and really, I'm really excited just to see how he continues to grow as a pitcher and with that experience. That's the things that I'm excited for him about. But so far, I mean, we've received some pretty good starts from both those guys. We just got to get Karst back on track, and I think he'll be back in that rotation eventually, I hope. But he's definitely got to make some improvements and get in zone and have confidence in his stuff a little bit. But as far as the pen, I mentioned Max McEwen. Max came out of our pen pretty much for the majority of the year so far, and he's done a really good job. I mean, he's able to locate fastball and with the slider and the changeup, and he's a guy that can hopefully chew up some innings for us here. He's going to have a tough task ahead of him with that Virginia. I think Gordo told me that Virginia Tech's hitting like 350 right now, so Max has his hands full there. But and then another guy out of our pen that is doing a pretty good job is the Laird kid, a left-hander, comes in and he attacks zone. Excited for him just because he wants the ball every day. So he's a guy that we're trying to get, hopefully give him touches, 2 out of the 3 games on a weekend. So we need him to be pretty successful in there. And then Gav Morris is he's been in our closing role, closed 1 game on against Florida Gulf Coast and then gave up the home run in the opener versus Wagner. But, he's a guy that was with me at USI, and he was a starter, making him into kind of a pen guy. Really has a chance to get some things going, I think, for himself. I think the save the other night against Florida Gulf Coast and I'm sorry, not Florida Gulf Coast, but against Northeastern on Sunday was big. And hopefully just he can use that to continue down the road a little bit. But we need a bunch of guys that do different things, but those are our main. Oh, I forgot about Jacob Spencer. Jacob Spencer has a chance. Spence is fastball with some sink, slider in there. Hasn't thrown him much. He was kind of a little bit like I told you about with Max. Is they didn't get to throw a lot last year, but they threw a little bit to get experience. I'm just hoping to get him experience with confidence. And that's what Jacob needs. Jacob needs to have some good outings in there. And I think once he gets a couple more good outings in there, he can really cut loose and get some things rolling.
A couple more questions for you here. As far as defensively, what have you seen from your team thus far?
Times of what the heck's going on? But then, like I said, with Nick Sutherland at third base, that's been the biggest surprise as far as just how well he's played. Just really gamed up a little bit. We don't have we're down our shortstop in Nomar Garcia, so Eli Gibson and who's a junior college transfer, and then Sebastian Torres have been filling in there, and both of them have done okay. It's just we get some freshman moments from Sebastian, and And Eli's solid. He just got to get him going a little bit. Sometimes just with the everyday stuff. And then at second base is Emmerich and Taylor. Tom's a guy, and he'll if you listen to it, he'll laugh a little bit because I say this all the time. He's not the flashiest guy. He doesn't run the greatest. Doesn't have much pop, but all of a sudden he leads our team in doubles. He finds a way to score runs. He makes plays. It's nothing. It's nothing when you go home and say, "Man, that guy has this or this." He's just a gamer into that end, and it's always good to see that from young men. And Jackson Taylor's been able to come in back and forth on that end. At first base, we've been playing Carlos Pena, and then in Cantu. Cantu's had a couple starts here last game, and Carlos needs to be in our lineup. I mean, if they're for us to be successful offensively, Carlos and Folk have to be in there, and we're trying to get Cantu some swings in there because he's also a guy that we feel offensively can get some things done. We're going to try to figure some things out, trying to figure out how to get them all in there. And with the injury to Folk right now, it's hard to be able to go back and forth of what we're doing on the DH side, and we don't have much versatility into there. But those guys definitely will need to get some things done. But in the outfield, it's been pretty consistent with Beck in center and Garrison left. And then the right field situation's kind of rotated between Cartagena and Estrella. Cartagena, I think, had some good at-bats early. It's kind of struggled a little bit late, kind of get Estrella in there. And, both have some pop into there, but a lot of strikeouts in there. We got to limit that down a little bit.
Final thing, as I look at your schedule, of course, from East Carolina's perspective, when East Carolina's putting together a non-conference schedule, and that's very easy, with all the quality opponents that you have in North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, throughout that region. But I see that you have opportunities, home and homes with Purdue, Indiana, and also Illinois. I know, obviously, you're focused on winning the championship, but those non-conference opportunities against Big Ten foes like that could obviously bode well for your resume come tournament time.
100%. And I mean, like I said, what the schedule in there is able to position ourselves RPI wise that, if we don't get to win that tournament, that we have a solid chance to get into the regional. I mean, that's, you throw the Big Ten teams in there, and then you throw in Vanderbilt and Tennessee. Our midweek games are very, very challenging, but at the same time, we need that in order to compete, be ready and compete in our conference. And we also needed to make sure that from the RPI side that we get in a position that we don't have to necessarily win that tournament, because that can be tough when it comes at the end of the year.
Really appreciate the time today, Coach. Safe travels to you and the Sycamores as you travel to Greenville for the Keith-LeClair Classic, and we wish you all the best in 2025.
All right, thanks, Bubba. Appreciate it.
Pirate Nation, that is Indiana State first-year head coach Tracy Archuleta. We appreciate his time today. Be sure to follow us on social media. On X and Instagram, you can find us at Jungle Tales Pod, and then on Spotify, Facebook, and YouTube, you can find us by simply searching Jungle Tales, a Pirate Baseball podcast. But that will do it for this edition of On Deck. We'll talk to you soon. And as always, go Pirates.